We start with something from the news, as we do with every hour. Chicagoland, we're a major tech center, right? The third largest city in America, after all. We do have Groupon here. We have, Motorola, the original tech company, is still thriving. But what is this? I see this report just out. It ranks 60 of America's top cyber cities, cities that have the most technology jobs. Now, these are good jobs. They pay on average of more than $82,000 a year. So where does Chicago, the Chicago metro area, come in? 7th. Hey, we got to get in the game. These are the jobs of the future. Technology is the modern equivalent, I think, of what railroads or the steel industry was. Those were the real breakout industries of a century ago. The report was prepared by TechAmerica Foundation. That's the country's preeminent technology association. And Longanecker is the executive director of TechAmerica Midwest. Ed, how come we're falling behind here? We're losing tech jobs by the thousands, and you've got places, I was looking at the list, like Oklahoma City, and they're adding those jobs.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, Bill. Thanks for having me on. We actually, the Chicago metro area did lose jobs in between 2008 and 2009, which is not a surprise given the economic conditions that we were facing and still are facing. But we actually did fare better than 55 of the top 60 metro areas for the number of jobs lost. And any job loss is certainly not a positive thing, but I think how we handled it and where we ranked speaks to the strength and the diversity of the Illinois economy and the strong base of companies that we have here, and the growing companies like you mentioned, Groupon, and many others.
Yeah, I was talking to your chairman, and I asked him about being in 7th place, and he said that's terrible.
I know, I agree, and I say I provide my comments with a caveat. There is more momentum, there is more emphasis, there is more collaboration and more excitement, I think, than I've ever seen in at least the time that I've been in Chicago, that I've been working in the technology sector. We've had a lot of success in recent years, something that we had not had in the past from a legislative standpoint, in driving policies and initiatives that help to increase access to capital, promote entrepreneurship, and something that we are very passionate about and we spend a lot of our time on is creating a regulatory environment and a business climate that encourages innovation and encourages job growth in this important sector. So you're right. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I think you mentioned at the beginning that we may rank 7th for the number of high-tech jobs in the Chicago metro area, but we actually ranked 3rd in the entire country for the number of high-tech establishments in our state. And that's what is probably the most interesting part of this report to me, is that even despite the downturn and the loss that we experienced between 2008 and 2009, and that's the most current data that's available, we actually saw an increase in the number of technology establishments, and that's been a consistent trend.
Now, when you say an establishment, that is a company, I'm assuming.
It can be a company. We define an establishment as an economic unit, such as a factory, an office that produces goods or services, and it's usually a physical location engaged in one or predominantly one type of economic activity that we can then tie into our definition of technology and the industry classifications that we use. So, yes, it certainly could be considered a company, divisions of other companies that are expanding or choosing Illinois as a place to do business. We've seen a lot of companies coming to Illinois actually in recent years across many sectors in technology, including biotech, health IT. Probably the most notable from our perspective is Merge Healthcare, which is a health IT imaging software company that was headquartered in Wisconsin, and they recently officially moved their headquarters from Wisconsin to Chicago. But many other companies that I can speak to if you like. But the governor, Mayor Daley, I think all of the leaders, political and industry, share a passion for attracting this talent and these types of companies and jobs to our state. And as I mentioned, I think there's more collaboration, coordination, momentum, and excitement that I've seen in the years that I've been here.
Ed, you're talking about the positive, favorable regulatory policy environment, and you just mentioned city and state. Now, how about on the federal scene? Is that also on the side of technology?
Yes, I think it is, absolutely. And you've probably, and it doesn't directly, the extension of the tax credits are not technology specific, but in that bill, was the extension of the R&D tax credit. And R&D, research and development, is the cornerstone of innovation and is essential for driving new product development and new job and technology growth for our country. So, yes, I absolutely do. And, this is, I think, President Obama and having a meeting with some of the industry's leading CEOs, many of which were from some of the companies that we work very closely with, like IBM and Motorola. He understands the place and the importance of innovation to our national economy, and I've seen a lot of very positive things coming out of the administration, both in Illinois and also at the federal level, to support that.
Also, how about green technology? We've heard a lot of people talk about that is going to be the exploding industry of the future. Other countries are moving very aggressively in attracting and creating green tech jobs, China primarily, also across Europe, India. Are we well positioned in Illinois and Chicago proper to take advantage of that?
Absolutely, and if you work with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity in the governor's office, they will often say that they view economic development in sort of a sectoral approach, and clean tech is one of those sectors that a lot of emphasis, a lot of investment in, to help position us strongly for the future. And actually, there are new organizations popping up with significant funding from the federal government to encourage innovation and job growth, specifically in Illinois, from a clean tech perspective. And we've actually we've made several pitches, if you will, to create a more formal incubator and accelerator specifically to help grow and nurture early-stage clean tech and green companies in the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. And we've actually been driving policies as an organization as well. We were instrumental in passing legislation about a year ago, green procurement legislation, which it creates a vehicle for the Department of Central Management Services to procure materials and services based on their environmental attributes. So instead of just the lowest cost, if a product or service falls within 10% of the lowest cost for a procurement for the state of Illinois, then those agencies then can procure those products and services based on their environmental attributes and not just lowest cost.
I'm talking with Ed Longanecker. Sorry, Ed, you're executive director with TechAmerica Midwest, an association that is for fostering technology development in Chicago and throughout the Midwest. Ed, tell me, I had mentioned some of this to some degree. Why don't you just articulate why it is so important that Illinois and Chicago especially have a strong beachhead in the technology sector so that we can grow and be a leader in these jobs?
Yeah, and you mentioned it and emphasized it at the beginning. These are the type of high-quality jobs that states are competing for very aggressively. They're being aggressive. They're being creative to attract these companies and to attract these jobs to the state of Illinois. We have a combined payroll, high-tech payroll in the Chicago metro area of $13.3 billion.
$13.3 billion.
$13.3
in just Chicagoland. Wow.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that the average wages for high-tech workers in the Chicago metro area is $82,500 a year, which is 64% more than Chicago's average private sector wage. And these jobs and these companies create new industries, they create new innovation, high-quality jobs, and it's critical for any economy, any state, and our country to have those types of jobs and those types of companies in the state, because they, again, create new opportunities and entirely new industries and products and services that drive innovation and economic strength.
From what you were saying earlier, even though we have been losing these jobs earlier in the recession by the thousands, my sense is that you're saying that we are very well positioned. In fact, in Chicago, maybe better positioned than many other cities in the country, that once the economy fully turns around, that we're going to have a lead on these other cities in attracting, growing, and building a strong technology base.
Absolutely, and we work with companies and states across the country. I'm based in Illinois. I have a particular affinity for Illinois in the Chicago metro area to help encourage job growth, encourage innovation, and encourage policies in Springfield and through the governor's office to attract those types of companies. But Illinois is really, and Chicago is really, one of the leading clusters for technology. It's extremely well positioned for sustainable growth, and we really have a unique combination of critical success factors, including diverse technological and academic expertise, a great quality of life. We have, and this is very important again from an R&D standpoint, Illinois has one of the largest concentrations of research in the world. We have more than 200 academic, government, and nonprofit research institutions in the state of Illinois. We have world-class universities. We have a proven ability to grow those companies like Echo, Global Logistics, like Groupon, Interworkings, and Vasco, who you talked to, Ken Hunt, my chair, Navtech, Tellular, and health IT is a growing sector as well. We have Allscripts, which is a billion-dollar-plus health IT company, SXE Health Solutions in the western suburbs, which is a $1.3 billion pharmacy benefits management software company. And I mentioned Merge as well. So there's growth in several sectors from a technology standpoint, and let's not leave out biotech with Baxter and Abbott and some of the other leading companies globally that are based in Illinois as well. But we do have those critical success factors and the strengths to drive growth and innovation and really be a leader in the coming years, as we have been. But I think given the collective efforts of so many organizations like ours and others, the fact that Governor Quinn and Mayor Daley share a passion for growing and attracting this type of talent to the city and to the state, I think we're going to go to new heights. We're going to be stronger than we've ever been, and Chicago already is on the map. But I think Chicago is going to get some pretty impressive momentum going, and it is going right now. And Groupon is a good example of that. That type of publicity really helps Chicago and gives visibility to all the other important companies and industries that are represented here.
Well, I hear your enthusiasm in just the tone of your voice, Ed. Thank you very much. We'll look for 2011 being a good growth year then in the technology side.
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.